call the meeting to order. If everybody could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk,
Trustee Costa?
Present.
Trustee Caprio?
Present.
Trustee Rogers? Present. Trustee Sweet?
Present.
Trustee Knights-Peterson? Present. Trustee Berrien?
Present.
Mayor Yukovic?
Present. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have one.
Okay.
I would like to table I-4. Make a motion to table I-4.
I'll second. I-4. I-4.
Under legislation and action items.
Okay. Okay. Is everyone okay with that? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that passes. I have two.
I have one as well.
Okay. Under the consent agenda, I would like to put off the legal bills for Olson and Sturck and the professional consulting services from Williams Architect until we have time to talk to a lawyer about this.
For 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
So moved. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Brian,
Mike.
who's second? Mike? Okay. Brian, and Mike. All right, and Beth?
I'd like to table I-2 until we could perhaps get some other numbers together. I haven't been able to see any other numbers besides the one that was presented.
Okay. Well, you can make a phone call on it, or you want us to make a phone call?
I can make a phone call.
Okay.
Calls.
All it is, we're just trying to find out if, money-wise, if we're working within the same boundaries. Okay, all in favor? Is there a motion?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, good there. Excuse me. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of September 23rd, 2015 Village Board meeting?
So moved.
Trustee Costa, second?
I'll second.
Who? Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. First one on the thing is reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. I'll start it off. For the mayor's report, we have an update on the 159th Street Improvement Project. We had a special meeting with IDOT yesterday. Representative Mike McCoy provided a project update for property owners and business owners across 159th Street. As you know, the Homer Glen portion of this project involves the reconstruction of 159th Street from Galbraith to Will Cook Road. The project is currently in the utility phase with roughly 50% of the utility work complete. The Village of Homer Glen will continue to keep residents and business owners informed as this project progresses. I encourage residents and property owners to sign up for updates through the village's website. Please visit www.homerglenil.org and click on Stay Informed. It'll fill you in on what's going on. Woodbine Area Regional Drainage Improvement Project Committee meeting. As you may know, the village is continuing to work on the engineering with the engineering firm H.R. Green on the completion of the Woodbine Area Regional Drainage Improvement Project and setting up recommendations. I invite you to attend a community meeting on Thursday, October 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. in the village boardroom. This meeting will allow H.R. Green to present its findings as well as provide residents with an opportunity to give additional feedback. Reminder that Village Hall Park is now open. The Village Hall Park, located at 14240 West 151st Street, is open to the public for passive recreation from dawn to dusk. Enter the park on the south side of the property, just east of the future Village Hall building. Park features a stone trail that is over 1 mile in length, as well as a picnic grove. This park is for passive recreation only, walking, jogging, flying a kite, etc. Please follow the rules that are posted on the park. Mike Hike. The annual Mike Hike 5K will take place on Saturday, November 7th at the Michael C. Oliveri segment of the Homer Glen Hero Trail. Participants can register online at mikehike5k.com. Proceeds raised through this event will commemorate our local heroes while supporting improvements to our community and parks. As for the trick-or-treat hours, because that's coming up very quick, the hours for Homer Glen are 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, October 31st. Residents participating in Halloween are encouraged to turn on their outside lights, and we encourage any children that are out after dark to have flashlights or glow sticks. That's for my report. We'll start with the trustees. Trustee Gabriel.
I just have a brief report, Mayor. The Parade and Festival Committee has a meeting coming up this coming Tuesday, I believe. We are progressing and moving forward with the 2016 plans for the Homer Community Fest. We started to arrange for the entertainment. The venue, obviously, we have secured, and we're just trying to get our planning process in production going. So we are progressing with the Homer Community Fest as long as the board approves the contract this evening. So.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Suisse.
I do not have a report this evening.
Okay. Trustee Rogers.
I do have a report.
Yes.
Okay.
For the next 2 weeks, our community has the opportunity to make a difference in the people's lives. October 24th is the National Day of Community Service, Make a Difference Day, where millions of volunteers across the nation unite with one common mission: to improve the lives of others. This year, the Homer Glen Junior Women's Club will be celebrating this day by supporting the food pantry that services Lockport and Homer Townships with the theme, Neighbors Helping Neighbors. You can help your neighbors by donating non-perishable items to the collection bins located at our local Homer Glen Jewel and Big R stores, as well as the Village of Homer Glen's offices between now and October 24th. If you are unable to make it to any of these locations between now and the 24th, please send me an email or call the village offices with your address, and I will be happy to come by and pick up your items. No one should ever go to school, to work, or to bed hungry. Please take part in this community event if you are able to help and make a difference in people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rogers. Trustee Costa.
No report this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Nancy.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Berrien.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Treasurer's report.
No report.
Okay. Village clerk.
No report.
Village attorney.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Public safety officials. And the village manager.
No report.
That was quick. All right, now we're at public comment. If you could please limit your speech to 3 minutes, it would be appreciated. Joe Bargill.
Hi. I've been before board meetings the last couple of months. I missed last month because I was out of town. I'm trying to get, I've been a resident of Homer Glen for over 15 years, 16 years. And I've always burned leaves on my property. And when they instituted the leaf burning ordinance and the permit, I've gotten one. I've always had one. I've always complied with it. This year they denied it. My property hasn't changed, but they're saying that because I'm not 50 feet from every property line on my property, I can't find a place where there's 50 feet between my property line and my building, my house. Between my house, I can be 50 feet away from my house, I have 160 feet between my two neighbors' property lines, but because there's a street in between, and there's a 20-foot setback from the street to my property, I'm 1 foot short of having enough to build a fire. I have to keep care of that 20 feet. I cut the grass, I feed it and everything and water it, but yet I can't use 5 feet of that to get with this ordinance. So I don't know if I can ask for an exception or whatever, but I have some handouts here that I'd like to give you.
My 3 minutes is gone now.
There's 2 pages each. The ordinance basically, it talks about open fires and that, and it has additional regulations. The second regulation is location of open burning shall not be less than 50 feet from any property line. I'm assuming that the thought behind this was you want to be 50 feet from your neighbor's property. That's why you'd be 50 feet from your property line. I feel that it should be amended or clarified. And on the second page, I think it should read, by stating open burning of leaves shall not be less than 50 feet from any adjoining person's property line or any street. If either one of those were in effect, I would have more than enough room to burn my leaves, which I've been doing for the last 15 years. And I went to the last meeting, or 2 months ago, I went to a meeting before the safety committee, or the first Wednesday, and they said they were going to discuss it after the meeting. Well, it's been 2 months and I haven't heard anything back. So I don't know if my permit got lost in the mail, or if they are denying it. And if they are going to deny it, at least send me something in writing saying why you're denying it. Because I just don't understand. I know I'm in a unique situation. Usually property lines are right between two people's property. So I could see being 50 feet away from your neighbor's property line. But my property line is 60 feet from my neighbor's property line.
What we'll do is we'll get together with the building department and see. We'll make sure you get an answer by Monday.
I would appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, that's it for public comment today. We're under the consent agenda for right now. We've eliminated 1, 2, and 3. So the only one on there right now is consider for approval the Village of Homer Glen's August legal bills from Mahoney, Silverman, and Cross LLC in the amount of $5,897.50.
I so move.
Trustee Suisse, and do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Costa. Could you please call a roll?
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse? Aye. Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Trustee Knightsky?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We are in legal, legislations, and action items. There is a request for a temporary use permit for construction staging for 159th, which would be Judlau. So there is a motion, is there a motion to direct the zoning administration to issue a temporary use permit for construction staging, materials processing, excavation, and stockpiling operation for the IDOT 159th Street project for a 6-month term beginning November 2nd, 2015 and ending on May 2nd, 2016, and potentially considering for renewal no more than 4 successive 6-month periods, subject to the conditions as outlined below. For certain real property located on the north side of 159th Street, approximately 1/4 mile east of Bell Road, and commonly known as 12500 West 159th Street, Homer Glen, Illinois. Judlau Contracting Incorporation and Legacy Development Group Limited are joint applicants. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Costa, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Caprio, is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I just have a couple of points I'd like to make.
Sure.
According to this, we understand that construction companies, whenever they do anything like this, and for ordinance, they do have to monitor water runoff of stockpiles and for things of that nature. I'm a little bit concerned about the dust. I know there is one blurb in here at the bottom that says it's going to follow a standard, but I live at 159th and Bell Road, and in the past 3 or 4 days, twice now, with one of them being tonight, just with them taking an end loader and getting a bucket of rock, just put a cloud across Bell Road. A couple of days ago, I understand it was quite windy, but from where they were working just east of Bell Road, just about to Big R, 159th Street was a cloud. So what standards do they follow, not only for as they're working on the road, to try to keep something wet so they don't have that as they're moving around, but also, what are they gonna do for the stockpile material? Because we know it's gonna get quite cloudy and dusty in the area. You know, if the wind is blowing right, it's gonna fall on all those businesses and people that are going into the business.
Yes, our ordinance does talk about particulate matter, and one of the conditions recommended is that they abide by the ordinance as far as keeping it water. What I might do, I don't know, we have Chris here this evening from Judlau Contracting, and he can maybe answer some of those questions more directly.
Yeah, and that would probably be better than us voting on it first. You show us what you've got, and then they can go from there.
All right, thank you.
This is,
Yeah, correct. Once again, thank you for your time this evening. My name is Bill Crespo. I will, Wally Paglosa, both project managers with Judlau Contracting. We're here. We are working the both 159th Street project. So I'd outlet that in two lettings, one being in Homer Glen and the other being in Orland Park. So today I'd like to talk about the Homer Glen temporary site. So obviously this is the property we're talking here. This is South Bell Road. So we're located just east of South Bell Road on the north side of the road. And this is, for the most part, the area we will be looking to.
you hold on for 1 second, because it's hard to see. Let's get the lights down. Thank you, Lieutenant Fish. Go ahead.
Thank you. Right here is the South Bell Road, and then obviously located east, and this is the location of the temporary construction staging area that we're proposing to talk about today. So it is our plan to utilize this whole area all the way out to the back within the property limits currently owned by Legacy Development. The slide here shows essentially what our current proposed staging area, what it will look like. So obviously it's tilted east, left, right, but as you can see right here, here's the north arrow. So this is, imagine it on side. So this road right here is obviously 159th Street. What we are proposing here is to install a, we're going to use the area for many items throughout the construction of 159th Street. Initially off the bat, we're looking to set up 10 to 15 what we're calling Conex boxes, or storage facilities that are typically seen on trains and things of that nature, where we'll store our materials and typical tools in that area. That'll be ongoing for the first part of the job. The second part becomes what we're calling a material processing location. So the intent here would be to take material back in this back area, back in the woods where it's located at, and process material needed for the 157th construction site. Other items in here, as part of other items that include, we have 3 locations in here where there are plans for future to development as far as clay sources. Our intent here is to open these materials up and use this material on site. So there's this job in particular, the road is being built such in a fashion that it requires 2 to 3 feet worth of fill. Ultimately, the road across the board, this road will need more material. So our plan would be to utilize these 3 locations in here to dig clay sources, which will be used down the road. And by all means, if you guys have any questions during this time, feel free to speak out.
Go ahead and ask them, then I have some, just so that everyone's on the same page.
Myself?
No, go ahead.
I have a child that goes to the school next door, so obviously there's some concern that there's going to be children in the area. It's preschool, so they're not out and about running. I would just throw caution that you take all due diligence in making sure that the crews are locking things up and making sure that the site remains clean. And will it be fenced in? I know there's a gate currently.
Yeah, correct. No, that's a good question. Along this west edge, there is I believe, a 5 to 6 foot high wooden fence along that area.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Yeah, no problem. I think this picture doesn't do diligence, but yes, there is a 6 foot wooden fence along that west edge, which we have no intent of taking down. We plan on keeping it up throughout the job.
Okay, just from a safety perspective, that's all.
Right.
Well, that's what you never do that.
I have a couple of questions. Can you explain those boxes? Are you using that as a wall to prevent, explain those boxes?
Okay, so the boxes there, these boxes in here in particular, our intent of putting those there is obviously we open them up on the end and we go ahead and we have tools inside of there, which get locked up every night. The intent of putting that there is so we don't, I'd rather have that up against the adjacent preschool property and the school property itself. So that tells us, that gives us a safeguard that no material will be stacked up along that side. Because the last thing I want to do is have dust and everything kicking up along that edge there. So off that fence line, we protect that area, make sure, okay, everyone's understanding that no tools or material are to be put up against that edge adjacent to that school property.
And then the gray area material, is that, you said that that's going to be that could be 60 feet high, up to 60 feet high.
Yes.
Is that going to be what I'm looking at on 159th Street, where you're going to be grinding concrete? Or is that just for dirt? What is exactly that?
So that's a very high pile due to the staging area for that project. That's on that project. It'd be similar in that fashion, but it's our intent. What we wanted to do here was understand, depending on the footprint of the area and the construction of the schedule of the work, it's going to be in our best interest to minimize that as possible. So not as low as 60 foot high. This is a worst case scenario in the event that needs to get that.
But you'll be using all that concrete to...
Correct. Yeah, and I'll have to, right. So the intent from a construction standpoint, what's going to go on there? During the construction, the road material that's currently out there, there's two types of material that road's made of. It's for the most part asphalt, which is the top portion, let's say the top half, let's call it. And underneath there's a concrete section of it there.
Right.
So what the intent would be was to take that material, depending on the staging, and take it to that location, process it so we can reuse it on site. So the intent there would take it in there. Now the situation, and this worst case scenario as far as this material processing area, the intent there, because it is more of a centralized location, it is in order to, it's going to provide benefits to the overall traffic and safety of the whole road in itself, which we probably will talk about here in a little bit. And I could discuss some of the impacts to that.
Well, with the school nearby and the schools nearby, with the children breathing all this, is
So, correct.
that's going to be too
Yeah.
bad?
No, the intent here, so when it comes to production operations, there are federal guidelines which we need to abide by as far as dust in itself. So there's several, call it erosion control measures we need to take as a company that everyone for the most part should be taking as a whole. A couple items we had in here which this drawing does not depict. One is typically stabilized construction entrance. As you know, certain points of the property will have a high volume of traffic. Let's say from just constant, everyone will be taking that road to get into that area. With that being said, we look to stabilize those areas. Typically, if people do not stabilize that area where it's just dirt or clay, that's dust is the first stuff that comes up and kicks up. What we do as a construction company, we typically we'll cut a road through here and we'll place it with stone, a heavier road, and we'll make sure we're constantly watering that. Typical job sites, when they do get fully blooming up and running, has a water truck that's on site that's spraying water, especially on heavy haul road areas, in order to minimize dust. Also, to the material processing, there's measures on those that have essentially watered down the material from a stockpile standpoint, so in order to prevent dust from kicking up, particularly during the crushing outfit. But there is, like you said, we do understand the impact it will have in the community, let alone there are guidelines we need to abide by in order to keep that dust particles down.
I don't think that's what he says, schools, we just say.
Right. So, and that's with the intent there, like I said, too. You kind of look at the area. So the area we're talking about crushing at would be as far back as possible. And obviously you can kind of see there we're pretty protected by the trees and everything else as well. So we're hoping to the best of our ability, barring, without minimizing the impacts to the neighbors, we'd like to get it back in here in order to keep the dust down and everything else.
What other projects have you done in the area?
The other projects, we have a project currently right now in Elgin O'Hare. It's off of 290 and 355. That's a project we currently have going on. I'm from Northwest Indiana. I've worked out in this location as far as Chicagoland area, like I call it, for 9 to 10 years with Walsh Construction. So we're very familiar as far as local areas. I know although you can Google our company and all these things come up regarding New York and things of that nature, but we are all local people that work in the area. It was just a company that decided to branch out in this location. So we're all familiar with the area. That's been in here for years.
How will you get access to the site once the median's put in?
The plan for that, so this project is built in what we're calling, for the most part, 4 phases. Right now, what you kind of see going out there is the utility relocation aspect, which we as a contractor have minimal. We're not doing much work with that right now because that's more so that's contracted strictly with the utility companies. Our scope, this phase, let's call it, is to build a temporary road on the north side of the existing 159th Street. So the intent there would be to shift traffic up in that north area, so traffic's built in that stage, which I believe Mike McCoy kind of spoke to you about yesterday. The next phase, the next phase coming out of the break will be construct everything on the south side. The second phase would be build everything on the north side. And once it's time for us to construct the central portion, I would hope a lot of this area, we're out of there. We don't, our need for that particular property becomes minimal at that point, because almost 80 to 90% of the project is built at that time frame, which that third stage, the final stage, is where you build everything in the center where the median's at, so we don't expect to be utilizing that area too much in that area.
And then I see where it says employee parking.
Yes.
Where are they parking now?
They are parking within the right of way.
Okay.
Within-
So this will kind of clean up that area as far as
Yeah.
some of those, because there's so much going on out there right
Right.
now. And then at nights on the weekends, do you see moving any of the heavy equipment into there, or is that kind of gonna?
I would prefer not to. I think we would prefer to keep it on site. The plan is to keep it at least no closer than 30 feet closest to the pavement. We can't get any closer per contractual obligation to get any closer to that at the end of the night. So our intent would be to leave it on site, because the more we have to maneuver around the equipment, the more traffic's on the road, and those are big machines. I hope not to move along the road and slow things up.
How many employee cars do you think will be in there? Just in that ballpark.
Yeah, it can be anywhere between 100 and 150. I don't think it'd be that heavy, but it all depends on the time of the season, to be honest with you.
And then, because now there's, certain locations on 159th Street that have porta potties on it, which are just,
Yeah.
I'm not liking those.
I understand how it.
Are we gonna move some of those, or is OSHA making you keep some of them out there, or?
Right. There is an OSHA regulation, I believe, that it says you have to have so many porta potties on site for how many employees are on site. A lot of those porta potties you see out there, particularly your side of the 159th Street construction, are currently belong to the utility companies out there. I have currently, right now as it stands, I have minimal work out there right now. My section of road that we're actually working on is for the most part between Gauger and I believe Cedar on the north side.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of that construction is not mine. That is all the utility companies with their relocation efforts to get out of the way so that I can do my work.
Will this minimize some of the need for those along 159th Street?
They will at time. When construction does end up happening, my preference would be to work this job very linear. So what that means to us is you're going to work in a certain direction, depending on the stage, to go from east to west or west to east. So it's almost like a big circus. I hate to use the word circus, but it's almost like a big concerted effort, a big direction, a big heading that everyone's marching in. So it's almost like a big parade. So yeah, in that attempt, everything will move with the crews in that direction.
Because there's one right now on what I consider to be a key corner, which is 159th and Bell. So all three, on 159th and South Bell Road, there's a porta potty there. So all three lights get to sit there and watch people go in and out of this porta potty.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that that's not going to be there.
No. We'll have a discussion with our crews as to find an optimal spot to push it as best we can. My preference would be to move it as close to the right of way, but also be cognizant of the properties that we're adjacent to, because in the other end of the spectrum, I don't want a porta john sitting in front of someone's house, so they can see that as well. So we're going to we'll look for optimal locations to place that. I agree that.
Right now on 143rd and LaGrange, on the northwest corner, just started a huge construction project.
Okay.
You can't tell what it is because it has a 6-foot fence and it's all blocked off with that green material.
Yes.
And it's nice because it's, you don't see a lot of eyesores and things like that. Is something like that even an option for this, maybe just in the fronting 159th Street to kind of, just make it a little bit more clean looking?
We can take efforts to do that. I think the way the road is right now and where everything's pushed back, you won't see a lot of traffic. There's a big elevation change between the existing 159th to that. So with that being said, it's going to be very hard. We'll see how it looks at, but right now the way I'm thinking is that it's going to be hard to see what's going on here versus how far back. And with minimal work going on, let's say on the front edge of that, the property, I don't see much of this getting touched until closer towards the end of the project, and which case we'd be getting towards the final product. So we can take a look at that and see if that's an option, and keep it open, and we'll kind of look at it on this case-by-case basis. But I would have a hard time seeing that there's going to be much to be seen from 159th Street from this front, off of 159th Street, from this front edge of the property.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more last question, I'm sorry. There is a huge elevation change from 159th Street to that the material processing area?
Yes.
What's that setback? I can't see if there's a measurement.
Yeah, I want to say there was 1,300 feet back here, so.
So to be able to see that 60-foot hill is going to be not.
Correct, yeah, it's going to be pretty, yeah, it'll be pretty far back.
Okay.
It'll be pretty far back.
All right, thank you.
So,
I just want to comment, the processing area, is that going to be used for the material taken off the Homer Glen area roads and processed and put back? Or are you bringing in material from Orland Park also?
good question. Yeah, there will be material coming from both projects at times. We hope to not bring as much from one project to the other. It's all about keeping off the roads. We're going to look for opportunities where it's best for us to keep off the roads and minimize traffic less. So if there's opportunities from that project or this project where I can take their material and utilize it quicker on the Homer Glen side of the project, I'm going to look to take advantage of that in order to minimize traffic. So that's what I'm hoping to do a lot of times, especially when how the staging works. To the best of my ability, we like to take the trucks and have them travel along the on the construction side of the road versus the public motoring side.
And then a comment about the porta potties under construction also, and you do have to make them available where the crew is working. Pretty much you have two choices, either make them available where they're working, or, you know, no matter where you work, you have to use the restroom. So just try to keep them back enough the best you can.
Yeah, I understand.
It is residential area and businesses, we want to make sure that crews are, and I'm sure they will use the facilities if they're buying them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Malinsky? Trustee Varian?
Is this going to be the only location for staging in the village?
No, I think as of right now, I think there are opportunities that we're gonna examine come the springtime if there's another location in order to be more centralized between there. Further west, I'm thinking that there is an opportunity. We'll look for those type of properties and see where we can kind of examine in order to help ourselves.
Did you consider any other locations for this staging area?
Currently, we just haven't dove into it too much. This is for the most part a centralized location across the whole 159 corridor. So ideal, depending on staging and timing wise, we definitely look for more opportunities in order to find an alternate staging area. Maybe not as big, that can handle some of the work that we're trying to put in at this spot.
Well, I mean, I share some minor concerns about the proximity to the schools, as some of my fellow trustees. I would just hope that these are things that, as we go forward, aren't conversations that we're going to have repeatedly, that this will all be handled in a professional manner. And take me at your word on that, but I think these are renewable every 6 months. Is that the special use?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll explain all that.
Okay.
You're all set then?
Yep.
Can I just have some clarification?
Sure.
So you're telling me if you don't find another place, that processing, concrete processing is going to, if it's going to stay there, it would be taking it all the way from LaGrange all the way to 355, up and down 159th,
So
and process it at this location.
Right, yeah, correct. That LaGrange project is being performed by a different contractor.
Right.
We have no connection or ties, or there's no ties between us or them. So the only other opportunity, if we were unable to find a permit situation, would be us to do this type of processing work along the 159th Street and take those down the road. Take it down the road and do a little here, do a little here, do a little here within the right of way.
The way this is written for to get the okay to use this property is, it's going to go under 6-month increments. This way we find out if there's anything that's not working, we can get it changed. If everything is going good, we leave it alone. If the noise is too bad, because we don't know what we're going to run into until we run into it. So that's why we did the 6-month increments. So if there's something before the first 6 months come up, we'll address it.
Sure.
And, because they've already said that they can stack the containers. Like you said, with all the trees further down, it should cut down on the dust. It should cut down on the noise because it's sound deadening in the winter. So, and as for the cement coming in from Orland or clay, if they could do it rather than just using everything here, if they could find something down that way or do it partial, like you said, that would work out a lot better. And as for the outhouses thing, everyone's kind of brought that up. The one that's on 159th in the South Bell, I'm real happy to see made in America, but not in the front of that thing. Just
No, I
doesn't look
understand.
right.
Yeah, like I said, I can, obviously it's not my responsibility. I'll reach out to them, though I do have relations with them, which I will see them tomorrow, actually. I can see if we can get those moved, and I'll make it a meeting.
Otherwise, just get one that's an outhouse.
Yeah, we'll be here for 2.5 years, so it's a lot. We gotta get something better, I agree. Those things tend to, they're sad nature of things.
I'm looking at your slide that you just put up there, and I'm liking, and I never even really thought about that, but the educational opportunities. Could you maybe explain a little bit of what your thoughts are on that? Because I have my own ideas.
Right, yeah, perfect. Yeah, with us being out here 2.5 years, we have people that work on our crews that are neighbors as well. They live in Lockport and other areas as well. So we definitely want to be your neighbors here for the next 2.5 years. If there's any concern, we want to have an open relationship when it comes to that. With that being said, 2.5 years is a great opportunity to get more interest in the engineering field, particularly the school systems, as far as how we build things. If there's an opportunity to learn more about construction, get an idea what the equipment is, we definitely want to make that an option, especially down the road, especially in the heat of the season, because like you said, we're going to be out here for a while. We're willing to open our doors and be upfront with the community and say, hey, it's kind of let's partner up and come up with an idea for for a learning lesson, learning opportunity for the kids out there, especially with the amount of work. There's a lot of aspects of this type of work that may interest certain kids that may not be able to see. This isn't already into there. They can pass through it on a daily basis and tell mom and dad, hey, I learned about that today. I know what that thing does. I know what this dozer does. So it's a good opportunity. We wanted to throw it out there with the thoughts that if you guys are interested, we are willing to explore that option over the course of the next few years. There's going to be plenty of opportunity to do that.
Yeah, Horace is the one that's going to support that to do the education. So the kids do see everything that goes on, what's involved in it, and like you said, you never know, you can get a couple engineers out of this.
That'd be great.
Are there any other questions, though?
No.
Okay, we've had the motion and the second. Got the discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Knights, Cherokee?
Yes.
Trustee Varian?
Yes.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Did you want to say something?
I was just going to add that, we were seeking feedback, but I insisted on motion included the 12 conditions as outlined by staff. You're certainly welcome to add conditions to it. If you think there's anything else, I mean, we covered, and Gil said he's read through it, as far as the hours of operation, the watering of the site, all of the other ordinances. So for example, on the north end where the material processing is located, there are some mature trees there that will probably have to come down. So we've outlined that our tree ordinance would still apply. They would need to give us a survey or identify the calipers of those trees. And then we have a 25% replacement if they qualify as over a certain size tree or not. The other thing I want to mention is, unlike a special use permit or a zoning case, there is no notification requirement for a temporary use permit. So for tonight's meeting, we're seeking feedback. You're certainly free to vote on it. No notices were given to the surrounding property owners. We're happy to do that. We can send that out, 250 feet, 1,000 feet out. But there's no public hearing requirement for this type of use. Right. So it would simply be informational at this point.
They're going to be seeing the information on the website as it is, so we have to.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know that wasn't done. So.
All right.
I think the one thing that we definitely want to reach out to the preschool and the schools and make
We
them
already
aware.
have.
Oh,
I've
okay.
already talked to the superintendent.
And the butterfly?
No, I have not talked to Butterfly, but we will get someone over there, or Gil, will you?
Yeah, I don't know anything about this.
And the last thing I want to mention, Judlau is now our neighbor. There's a construction office, I don't know if you're aware, in the plaza here to the north, closer to Pelican Harry's. So you'll see folks coming in and out of that office.
Director Schwartz, so these 12 points have been agreed, and it's like a contract with them, right?
Yeah, the way the ordinance is written for temporary use permits, it gives the zoning administrator the authority. We wanted to bring it to you because we really think this is big enough of a project that the village board
Right.
should direct me to issue this permit. The permit essentially would cover these 12 conditions, and you're welcome to add to it, and I know I've talked to Gil, they've gone through it. It's all pretty much making sure that we can allow them to do the project, but safeguard the neighboring businesses and property owners, making sure that we've thought of, like the mayor said, this is a 6-month approval. We can see what's working and bring it back to you each 6 months. My intent would be to come back in 6 months, listen to any complaints or concerns that we get, and say what is working. Do we need to shift things around? Do we need to add screening? Do we need to do more watering? So those are the kind of concerns I want to make sure that the neighbors are protected.
Well, ultimately, this is a long-term relationship, so obviously it should be an open, communicative relationship.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah, I encourage you guys, let's not wait till 6 months if there's something that is a problem or a concern. We are definitely flexible enough in order to bring it up, because like I said, we're going to be out here for the next 24 to 30 months, so we don't want to wait till the 6-month time frame. We're open and flexible to do it, and we're willing to do what needs to be done. Yeah.
So access to this site for village staff and the trustees won't be an issue if we want to come by and see what's going on?
Yeah, that's no problem at all. All I ask is that we'll make my contact information available. If you don't mind giving me a call and letting me know so we can make sure, proper PPE is provided. I definitely I don't encourage people to walk on site without a hard hat vest and things of that nature, especially depending on the time frame.
Okay. Well, George, you take a roll call? Yes. Okay, so we're all set there. Number 2 is off the agenda. Number 3 is Homer Community Fest contract for all-around amusement. I need a motion to direct the mayor to sign the attached contract with All Around Amusement, Inc. to supply carnival rides, amusement attractions, and concessions for the 2016 Homer Community Festival with an automatic renewal for the 2 years following, which would be 2017 and 2018. So moved. Is there a second? Christine? Okay. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Trustee Knansky-Tracey? Aye. Trustee Barron?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Number 4 is off the list right now. Number 5, approval of a village's August professional consulting services invoice Andromeda. Is there a motion to approve the August professional consulting services invoice from Andromeda Technology Solutions in the amount of $4,165? It's part of this is also when the computers crashed, so that's the bulk of it. So that's what this one's about.
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
No, I just wanted to clarify, that when A&F looked at it, we were concerned that the cost was so high, and it was because unfortunately, the village was infected with a virus that took us down for a couple of days and required a lot of IT, so that's why it is as large as it is.
Which was common across the country.
And not only that, I believe we are trying to turn that into a reimbursement.
Yes, we are. So I need a roll.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Barron?
Aye.
Trustee Knansky-Tracey?
Aye.
Okay, number 6, approval of the village's contribution to the Northern Will County Water Agency. Is there a motion to approve the amount of $68,294.90 to be paid to the Northern Will County Water Agency for the Village of Homer Glen's portion of the Northern Will County Water Agency's biannual budget for fiscal year 2015? It is understood that the villages of Bolingbrook, Lamont, Romeoville, and Woodbridge will pay the remaining $264,105.10. So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy
Aye.
Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 7, approval of a position description for an administrative analyst project manager. Is there a motion to approve the position description for the administrative analyst project manager?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second,
Is there any discussion?
This is Sean's, right?
This is Sean's.
Yeah.
for sure.
Excuse me.
That's a mouthful of a title.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a mouthful. Does everyone understand and okay with it? Okay, so I need a roll, please.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Motion carries. Last on the agenda, number 8, approval of the village's second annual in-house training filing day. Is there a motion to establish Veterans Day as a village staff member's second annual in-house training filing day? It is understood that the village hall will be closed to the public on this day.
I so move.
Trustee Sweet, is there a second?
I second.
Second, Trustee Rogers. Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to clarify a little bit for this. The staff needs some time, a day where they can all work, and they don't have to go around answering phones and people answering the doors. And typically, the traffic on Veterans Day for here is minimal because everybody thinks they're closed anyway. So we just decided that it was best to close it so that they could have a sort of a catch-up day where they could get caught up on a lot of administrative tasks. This would be the second year that they do that.
And in the past, I know they've had classes like training and classes like that too.
If I could, what we have done since 2011 is heavily MLK Day because we're one of the few villages that are open on MLK Day. We've been closed to the public to have a training slash filing day. We've done training in the morning, filing in the afternoon. We thought with the move coming up and the process of trying to go electronic with a lot of our files and getting that established, it would be best to use this day so that we could be uninterrupted.
Excuse me.
So this would be establishing it as an annual occurrence.
So every Veterans Day.
Every Veterans Day, we would be closed to the public, but in here working.
Any other questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? I have one thing that I'd like to get a consensus with us going over the Hassel-Levine plans for 159th Street. There is a gentleman that would like to, I would like to see come in here and talk to us about some ideas with the, he helped with the 2005 plan, and I just don't know when he's going to be in town right now. But is there any interest in bringing someone in that could give us some ideas? They'd basically be from the 2005 study, and it would also bring in Hassel-Levine to see if anything could be worked into it. This way you get a better insight of what the village is trying to do, or what the village should try to do.
I think that's a great idea because he knows Homer Glen and he was instrumental in previous plans and he has done a lot of work, not just here,
Well,
elsewhere.
yeah, this is one guy, and I apologize, I can't remember his last name.
Keith Pointer.
He is the only person that has done anything for IDOT that they've approved.
On an individual
On an
type of,
individual
right.
basis. So, I mean, the man knows what he's doing. And with everything that's going to be coming up, I figured it would be a good idea just to get at least the new trustees more up to date and us older trustees, just to reassure and reaffirm in our head. So if that's okay, as soon as we find out his schedule, I'd like to see if we can bring him in for a workshop, that's all.
That's
I'm,
fine.
I'm fine with it. As far as I heard, the two plans are differ. I'd like to hear someone else's input, so.
Okay. All right, is there any other new business? Okay, then we will take a break for executive session, dealing with personnel, hiring, performance, and compensation. I need a motion to adjourn and go into executive.
So move.
Second?
I second.
Okay, just all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We will be, we'll take a few minutes break and then we're going to go into executive session.